September 13, 2014, from Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, South Carolina. It was the number 6 ranked Georgia Bulldogs versus the number 24 ranked South Carolina Gamecocks. And what a game this was. The Gamecocks jumped out to an early lead as Shaq Roland caught a 10-yard touchdown pass from Dylan Thompson to make it 7-0 South Carolina. But here came the Bulldogs as Sony Michel caught a 33-yard pass from Hutson Mason to tie this game up at 7 apiece. Then Marshall Morgan kicked a 36-yard field goal to put the Bulldogs ahead 10-7. But the Gamecocks responded as Pharoh Cooper caught an 8-yard touchdown pass from Dylan Thompson to put the Gamecocks back in the lead at 14-10, and that was it for the first quarter, as this game saw a lot of scoring. So into the second quarter, just under 9 minutes left in the half, Marshall Morgan kicks his second field goal of the game, this time a 26-yarder, to bring the Bulldogs within 1 point of the Gamecocks with the score 14-13. Then the Gamecocks scored a touchdown as Rory Anderson caught an 18-yard touchdown pass from Dylan Thompson to put the Gamecocks further ahead, now at 21-18, to extend their lead to 8 points. And then just as the half was coming to a close, Elliott hit a 32-yard field goal to make it 24-13 as the Gamecocks went into halftime up by 11 points over the Bulldogs in what was shaping up to be an upset. Then in the third quarter, Todd Gurley scored on a 2-yard touchdown run to bring the Bulldogs within 4 points at 24-20. But the Gamecocks would end up scoring later in the quarter when Dylan Thompson scored on the 1-yard touchdown run to respond to the touchdown drive of the Bulldogs to put the Gamecocks up 31-20 as they were now back up by 11. Now into the fourth quarter, just 5 seconds in, J. Rome scores on a 5-yard touchdown pass from Hutson Mason to make it 31-28 as the Bulldogs were now within a field goal. But the Gamecocks wasted no time scoring as they scored in less than 2 minutes when Brandon Wilds ripped the 24-yard touchdown run to put the Gamecocks back up by now 10 points at 38-28. But then the Bulldogs came downfield and scored on a touchdown, a 1-yard run by Quayvon Hicks to make it 38-35 as the Bulldogs were now within 3 points. So now with just over 7 minutes left to play, the Gamecocks had the ball and they were marching. So now with just over 7 minutes left to play, the Gamecocks had their ball and they were backed up deep in their own territory, starting off their drive on their 14-yard line. Then after a false start on 3rd and 5, put them back to their 14 for 3rd and 10. Dylan Thompson threw an intercept into Damian Swan, and that looked like it was going to be it as Georgia now had the ball on the South Carolina 4-yard line, and they were poised to tie this game up to send it at least into overtime or even score a touchdown as they were just 4 yards away from the end zone and going up by 4 points. But they were stuffed. The Gamecocks defense came up huge. They stopped the Bulldogs from getting in the end zone, and they pushed them back as they sacked Hutson Mason on 1st down for a 10-yard loss. And then Gurley picked up 3 yards, and an incomplete pass on 3rd and goal from the 11 led to a 28-yard field goal attempt by Marshall Morgan, who had already kicked a couple field goals, but this time, from only 28 yards, he missed. And that would be it for the Bulldogs as they now turned over the ball and gave it right back to Carolina as the Gamecocks had the ball now with just over 4 minutes, a little under 4.5, and they just ran down the clock and they would win this game 38-35 with the upset of the week and the game of the week as they refused to let the Bulldogs score in the last 7 minutes of this game. So South Carolina upsets Georgia, and in this game, Dylan Thompson was 21 for 30 with 271 yards passing, 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. Hutson Mason was 16 for 22 with 191 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. And the leading rusher in this game was Todd Gurley with 131 yards off 20 carries and 1 touchdown. Brandon Wilds had 93 yards off 14 carries and a touchdown as well. So both teams had really good rushing. Wilds was just 7 yards from the century mark. And the leading receiver in this game was Nick Jones with 87 yards off 4 receptions. Although he did not catch a touchdown, 3 other South Carolina receivers would catch touchdowns as Rory Anderson, Shaq Roland, and Pharoh Cooper came through with those touchdown grabs as they had 67, 47, and 27 yards respectively, Anderson, Roland, Cooper. The leading receiver for Georgia was Chris Conley with 49 yards off 4 receptions. Todd Gurley had 4 yards off of 4 receptions as he wasn't able to get anything going out of the backfield on those pass plays as he was a check down. The only interception in this game, the only turnover, was Damian Swan, who intercepted the ball. He returned it 18 yards, but that wasn't enough for the Georgia Bulldogs to beat South Carolina as they could not stop them from scoring as the Gamecocks upset Georgia 38-35.